When I was in my late teens or early 20s, I set a goal for myself, or I made a promise to myself, where I wanted to release an entire album of my own material before the age of 25. And my 25th birthday kind of came and went, and the best I'd done was An Indulgence in Doubt. And it didn't quite turn into the album that I wanted to have released by that time. So it was an unmet goal, it was a broken promise to myself. So the 25th November, the title of the album, is a reference to the 25th time the month of November comes around in my life. It doesn't mean the 25th of November. I wasn't aware at the time that some people in some parts of the world refer to the 25th day as the 25th November, but that's not what it means. It means the 25th time November came around. Because my birthday is in November, so it represents the year I turned 25. And I hadn't met this goal that I set for myself. So it was this kind of disappointment, which I wanted to have be sort of a theme. I don't know if that's actually there, but the album is very different than So Much for Optimism or An Indulgence in Doubt. On this one, I actually added more instruments, more vocal harmonies, and I recruited my brother to play drums, because I'm not a good drummer. But my brother was a good drummer, and he was willing to do it. The way we went about it, because my brother and I were both working and we didn't really have a rehearsal space, and so I went into the studio and recorded all the guitars and all the vocals to a click track, and then gave him a recording of it and said, here, learn the songs. And then we went into the studio and he played the drums to the material that I had already recorded. So there's places on the album where the drums sound like they don't exactly line up with the music, and it's not the drummer's fault. It's mine, because I couldn't play well to a click track. So after he recorded the drums, I took the recording of the drums with the guitars and the vocals, and I wrote a bass line, and then I went in and recorded the bass guitar lines. Originally it was only going to be 4 songs, but as I was going along, it was like, I gotta do more of this. So it became 8 songs, and it's still, I think I've said before that 8 songs doesn't feel like an album to me. It needs to be like at least 10. The songs on this album are all a little long, so it comes to about 50 minutes of music. So it's an album. It's just got a small number of songs, but the songs are kind of long, so I consider it a full album. So once I finished recording it, I actually had CDs pressed, a lot of CDs pressed, because it was my intention to get them out in the world and, promote them as much as I could. This was the album where I was going to really push it, and there was no going back. This was do or die time for me. And so I pressed all these CDs. I called and wrote to friends and said, hey, if I send you like 10 CDs, can you go to your local record store and ask if they'll stock these? And a lot of them agreed to do it, which was really nice. My brother was very helpful in getting things uploaded to the internet. This was like still before social media and stuff, so there was little websites like mp3.com was the one I can remember, and he uploaded a bunch of the music onto there and provided the artwork for it and everything. I mean, he was really pushing this more than I could, because I was just a total internet ignoramus. So between him playing the drums and helping me with internet promotion and stuff like that, he was really, really great. Once all that was done, I started, trying to communicate with people directly. And I had an email address at this point. So I was emailing people, asking them, to listen to it and tell me what they think, all this stuff. I even tried to get a spot on a local music festival, and they of course turned me down. So I had this album, and I'm trying to promote it online, mostly because in the evenings I'm spending all my time with my friend Jack. You might know Jack, his last name is Daniels. So that's what I was doing instead of actually chasing the dream that I had had for so many years. It's just kind of waiting for it to all happen to me instead of going out and getting it. I eventually quit drinking. I had this sort of epiphany moment where I woke up in the morning and woke up with this clarity. And I thought, I have wasted so much time. And that was it. I was done drinking. I never went back to it. And that was 22 years ago. And it was because of this CD that I had that I actually met my first wife. I was working at a bookbindery, and the people who owned it had a daughter who worked across the street at an insurance company or something like that. And she kept coming over to visit with her parents on her lunch break. And one day I was just like, oh, here, have a CD. And that was kind of the beginning of the whole thing. So that started us talking and eventually dating. And then eventually we got married. And it was one of those things where it was, you know, she was supportive of the music at first until it started to, you know, cut into time that she thought I should be focused on her instead of the music. And that is a problem. You know, it's, if you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't understand why you have to do what you do, then that person is probably not the right person to be with. And eventually that marriage did end. I'd given up on music because I was tired of fighting about it. So the cases of this CD are still in my basement. Or at least 4 of them are. I threw a bunch of them into the dumpster. Oh, yeah, I mean, like hundreds of copies. Hundreds. Into the dumpster. When I was living in an apartment. Just me and my son. One day, in like just this fit of rage, I just started taking the cases of CDs out to the dumpster and throwing them in. And that was that. And then recently I acquired 4 more cases of CDs. There's like, I don't know, 400 in a case or something like that. So I've got several copies still, but not as many as I once did. You know, it's like I couldn't even give this album away. I was walking around the city where I live, literally just holding it out, going, hey, you want a free CD? And a couple people took them, and most people were like, no thanks. But I am proud of this record. I mean, it's a far cry from the stuff I had done previously, in that it's a full band sound, and it's a darker sound in a lot of ways. It's heavier. It's not metal by any means, but it's, you know, it's hard rock. So this was the album that was supposed to be the big beginning, and it ended up being the end. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. But I'm proud of the accomplishment. It's, you know, it's not a perfect record. There's spots where it's, you know, all over the place, but you know, for the amount of money and time that we put into it, it's not bad. All the songs from the 25th of November are here, and if you like them, you can download them for free over on Bandcamp. Yeah, I guess that's it. So that's the stories of my albums. Pretty exciting, huh? Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon.